Time again for Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, owner of Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive Hyde Park. It's the show that delves into the training, socializing, behavior, nutrition, and wellness of your dog. And brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard, with a location near you in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And we're back with the trainer, Ian Grant, and the topic this week is repetitions of success. Now, we know that when we're training our dog, repetition is very, very important. But you just can't quit on it once the success has been made. So that's our topic today, that you can't never repeat things too often, I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah, let's kind of paint a picture here. So if I have a client who's teaching their dog something simple like a stay command, they put them on a bed or a blanket or something, and maybe the first, 5 or 6 times that the owner attempts to move away from their dog, the dog gets up off of the bed and moves to get closer to them. And of course, we put the dog back. What I find in my experience is once the owner is able to get to that, let's say that goal of getting 20 feet back, the dog's able to stay on the bed, they go back to the bed, reward the dog. That's usually where they throw in the towel. They're like, okay, we're good.
Okay,
we got it.
Next one. And you just throw it away, you know?
Yeah, so we ended up with success once, but we kind of failed 4 or 5 times leading up to it. So where, nobody's ever interviewed a dog, so we don't know. But if, looking at the dog going, okay, so I didn't do things correctly the first number of times, but I got rewarded that time, and then we're all done. So where does this leave me? To me, I think it would probably create more confusion for the dog than clarity for them to truly understand what we want.
Why did I get rewarded? Because I failed a few times and then got it right, or...
See, and then to me, that's the confusing part for the dog. And then that's where most dog owners fail, is they don't go after those repetitions of success. That last part where the dog was successful, that's where we have to look at and go, the dog finally got it. Now I have to repeat this a number of times so that the dog can kind of internalize what's happening here and getting rewarded for it. That time when the owner's ready to call it quits, I'm like, no, we're literally just getting started.
Now you're starting, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because we finally taught the dog the pattern of what we expect. And then from there, okay, so now we go back to rewarding the dog, moving back to that 20 or 30 foot mark, and then the dog doesn't move, go back into reward. Now the dog understands this pattern. If I just keep my butt right here, I'm going to get rewarded. This is a pretty easy job.
So instead of failing 5 times, then getting it right and then moving on, should they continue the process and keep getting it right? Or do you leave it for a while and then you come back maybe the next day and do it again?
I think... you always want to end training on a positive note. Right. Sometimes that can be difficult. I'll be the first to express that. However, if we look at it and go, okay, so 4 or 5 times it failed, but now we've been able to knock down 6 or 8 easily, attainable goals here with a dog and a good ending to it. You can take your break. You can go have some dinner, go have some lunch, whatever you got to do, run some errands, come back. Try it again for a few more minutes. You'd be surprised at how quickly a dog can get something simple, especially with a simple pattern of just keep your butt on the blanket or on the bed, and it comes down to something as simple as that.
Yeah. So what's the process of teaching them going to another process that you're going to teach them? Do you just change and go on to the next process next, or do you give it some time? What do you do on that point?
Well, in that situation, what I like to tell my clients is let's use that as the basis on how to teach the dog a different skill. Let's say your dog doesn't jump up into the car. It just doesn't know how. Again, first number of times it's going to fail. But if you go into teaching your dog with this expectation of this pattern of knowing the dog will not quite get it for a number of tries, and then the dog gets it, and then I have to repeat that. Now you have this formula that says, okay, I know what to expect with every single new skill I'm going to teach my dog. I understand in the beginning they're not going to understand it because it's new, but I also understand there's going to be some times where they start to get it, and then they get it, and then now I have to repeat it. So if you look at this as the big process and you know what to expect, then your dog becomes predictable, and then things become easier, and you can teach them any skill that you want to.
So you would say repetition is the secret to success.
Exactly. That's what we need.
We need more.
Yes.
We need more.
That we do.
Okay. Back with our question from the doggy bag in just a moment here on Talking Dogs.
Roaming is a Los Angeles-based premium lifestyle brand that is motivated by nature. Roaming features high-quality, earth-friendly dog products made from renewable and natural materials like their bio-based, and 100% compostable biodegradable dog poop bags. These bags really are awesome. I've been using their bags for a few months now, and I love the durability, the way they feel, and the fact that they are good for the earth. They also have a special discount for our listeners. Use code VermontDog to get 20% off your first purchase, including 20% off the first 3 orders if you sign up for one of their poop bag subscriptions. They also have some beautiful leather leashes made right here in the USA. You can check them out at roaming.com. That's ROMNG.com. Are you looking for gear that can keep up with your active and adventurous dog? Look no further than Synology Warehouse. They specialize in equipping the modern canine with distinguished, overbuilt gear that's built to last from home to horizon. From premium collars and leashes to rugged outdoor gear, they have everything you need to keep your dog comfortable and safe no matter where your adventures take you. I've been using their Biothane slip leashes for months now, and I love them. They have a nice feel, a good grip, and they clean very easily. Use coupon code Vermont to receive 10% off your purchase. Head over to Synology Warehouse on Etsy today and give your dog the gear they deserve. Synology Warehouse, overbuilt gear that's built to last from home to horizon.
Back with Talking Dogs with Ian Grant from Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive Hyde Park. You can re-listen to many of these programs, podcasts, not only Talking Dogs, but many of the other podcasts that Ian does during the course of his days. Just go to VermontDogBoardingAndBehavior.com and go to podcasts and then listen away. There you go. Our question this morning, Ian, is we are thinking about getting another dog for our current dog to play with. When is it the right time? Is there a right time, and does the age of the dog have something to do with it too?
Age is quite important, especially because if you have, a 3, 4, 5-year-old dog, basically an adult with experience, and you bring in a younger dog, doesn't have to be an 8-week-old puppy or anything like that. It can be a rescue that's a year and a half or whatever. I think it is a good dynamic to have an older, kind of more seasoned veteran that can teach the rookie coming into the house
exactly
how to handle things. I think that's number one. Number two is if your dog is really showing you all the behaviors that you want, you don't have any major red flags that you're struggling with.
Your original dog.
Yep, your original dog. Then I think you think about getting a second one. The big but here is making sure that the second dog doesn't have more energy than the first one, your original one, because if you bring in a dog with higher energy, now your schedule and your daily routine changes. Now, if you're ready for that, there's no problem with it. You can expect it. But if you bring a dog in that's maybe the same or just a little bit lower energy, there's no change other than you have another dog in the house,
right,
and you may need a little tweak here and there, but that's it.
Yeah. Now, how does the original dog react to the new dog? Of course, you have to kind of take that into consideration. There's no way of testing that beforehand, is there?
It depends on how some rescues and shelters handle that kind of thing. I think most of them do some sort of meet and greet just to see how it can go. Ideally, I'm not a big fan of just let's put them in a room and see how it goes. I would rather that meet and greet be, let's go for a 15-minute walk, them just walking next to each other, and then they get to sniff each other in on neutral ground after a little bit of a walk. So, there's no tempers, there's no higher energy when they meet each other.
Yeah, is that enough? Is that enough time to make a decision on that?
I mean, it should give you an idea, which is really all you're looking for, is just an idea to make sure there's nothing that's going to be way out of hand. And look, it may take a couple or a few of those meetings to go down for you to make a decision too.
Yeah.
I mean, people put more into buying a car than they do a dog, as far as research is concerned. So you just have to do your due diligence. But if everybody's ready and your dog is good, I would say go for it.
Now, would shelters allow you to bring the dog home for a weekend and then say, well, I guess this didn't work out, and then bring it back?
That can be a sore subject for me because I feel like if you have somebody and you have all those references lined up and everything, if somebody's known, then I feel like we should be allowed to give that dog a test drive, especially if there's structure involved and it's out of the shelter environment for a little while and it just kind of exposes them. So there are some situations I wish we could take a dog for a weekend and just see, there's less people that are now committed once they adopt the dog that they have to keep it for the rest of their life.
So you are or not in favor of?
I am in favor of them taking a dog for a weekend or something.
And then doing it back.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. That's true, yeah. I guess you get a lot of heat for that, too, sometimes, don't you?
I do, yes.
Yeah. That's for another time.
Yeah.
If you have a question for Ian, you can email him directly to info@vermontdogboardingandbehavior.com. Next week, New Year's resolutions for your dog's behaviors.
I just thought this would be a good time to look at maybe a few different behaviors, just kind of a Cliff's Notes version of looking at it going, okay, how can we change these? What's the formula? Let's get rolling for the new year and let's get things headed on the right track.
Yeah, best way to start a new year.
Yep.
On Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And for the trainer Ian Grant, I'm Roland LaJoy, and we are Talking Dogs.